anyway, Uddhava, who was quite familiar with activities in Mathura, informed Purnamasi Devi that Kamsa had sent Arista and Keshi to spy on Krishna, thinking that he might have been the source or the cause of the demise of all the demons in descending into Braj. So, their first reply is standard when you're given a difficult mission. Can't you get somebody else? So they recommended, why don't you send, first of all, when they were spying on Krishna and they beheld the beauty of Srimati Radharani, which Keshi described to Kamsa in such great detail, it was quite similar to Suparnaka describing the beauty of Sita to Ravana. So he told them, Keshi and Arista will go abduct her for me. And he said, can't you get somebody else? How about Shankarachura? So he was killed. Keshi, he was killed. So Kamsa told Arista, now it's your turn. And true to his name, Arista, creating calamity and misfortune everywhere he goes, feared by demons and devas alike, to such an extent that when he just playfully shook his head, Lord Shiva was so terrified and Nandi hid himself in a cave. So, arriving in Braj, right when Krishna was trying to pacify Vishankara, whose Manalila, quite similar to your dear friend, was threatened. A very well planned out Rasa Lila scheduled to transpire that very night. So when Arista arrived, Vishankara forgot his anger, and everybody called Krishna. Say
2,200 acres. They have to be there.
So Krishna confronted Arista. What are you doing? Trying to terrorize the cows and the cowherd folks and the animals when I'm here to protect them. Then he tightened his sash and slapped his arms against his chest like a challenge to further infuriate Arista. And then Krishna very casually rested his arm on Subala's shoulder, just to incite further contempt in the demon. And then he charged like a thunderbolt with, like hot breath blasting out his nostrils in a mindless rage. And you know the story from Krishna, about how Krishna, the Lord dealt with him. But what you don't know, maybe, unless you read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's purports, is that Krishna would not kill a cow or a bull. And as a service, unseen to anyone, Yamaraj appeared on the scene and liberated. Arista was liberated because he died in the presence of Krishna, even though he was killed by Yamaraj. And then Krishna took that monstrous body and just threw it away like a toy. So then, Krishna tried to salvage the earlier plans to celebrate Rasa Leela that night. And when he reached out to take Radha's hand, she pulled back with an emphatic no. He thought she was just being coy, like she's very prone to do. But when he tried again, she said, Krishna, you can't judge us because you killed the bull. He said, that wasn't a bull. That was a demon. He doesn't even like cows or religion or anything good. He was a demon. But Radha said, still, just like Indra had to atone after killing Riddhashura, you have to purify yourself before you can associate with us. And the funny thing is that Krishna took that so seriously, having to apparently kill a bull, that immediately afterwards, he took his bath in Lalita Kama to purify himself, to atone for sin. So he's really being unjustly accused. Has anyone ever experienced such things? Well, the more you try to do something significant in this world, the more you will experience it. Because, as we said before, calamity and adversity are the gatekeepers to higher dimensions. And it's only by leaning into them that you will receive their benefits. So then Krishna asked Radha, what am I supposed to do? She said, you have to go to all the holy places in all creation to take bath. He said, that's absurd. I'll just bring them all here. And then he started moving his hand like some kind of wizard, summoning something from somewhere. And he was still in a very chivalrous mood. Because after Ristasura, Krishna was just parading around. So he's still in a chivalrous mood. He pressed his heel into the earth and called all the holy places there. They filled that impoundment with their waters. Krishna took his bath again. And he emerged from the water and said, now I've purified myself by bathing in the waters of all holy places. And then Srimati Radharani challenged him in so carefully pronouncing every syllable so clearly that everyone could hear her say, we don't see any deities in that kund. So Krishna summoned them, they all appeared, introduced themselves. I'm the milk ocean, I'm the salt ocean, I am Jamuna, I'm Pushkar, I'm Triveni, and all the deities appeared there. And as they began chanting Purusha Shukta, Krishna took his bath again. This is the third time. He took his bath to atone for the apparent pastime of killing the bull. So then he became more arrogant than ever. He told the gopis, now I'm purified, as you all see. Now you all have to atone for siding with the demon. Because Shastra tells us that if a king performs sinful activities, all the subjects suffer their share of the reaction. You didn't have a king, but your queen sided with the demon, and you'll have to take bath for purification before you can associate with me. So you can bathe in my kund. And then Radha No, 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 no. We will make a kund of our own that will be even more beautiful than yours. And in no time, they created what you call in the vernacular, a bucket brigade. And with golden pots for carrying milk, her many gopis formed a line to Manasaganga. And of course there's different versions because of different kalpas and the way Radha Kund appears to her different devotees. But in one version, they actually filled. First they dug the impoundment, beginning with Radha's own lotus hands. But Lalita became patient. She broke her bangle to use as a spade. They excavated a large impoundment. And Krishna said, "That's very impressive. Where's the water? You can take from my kund." No, no, no. That water is contaminated. We'll bring our own. And then they made it. They actually made a bucket brigade that filled Radha Kund with the waters of Manasiganga. Then, a divine personality arose out of Krishna's leg and introduced himself as the envoy of all the holy places. And with fervent emotion, tears flowing from his eyes, he fell at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and explained that it is such an inconceivable blessing that we have been called here from all over creation to reside eternally in Krishna's leg. And still, we have a desire that goes deeper, which only you can fulfill. And she said, "What is it?" And he said, "If we could enter your leg." And then, becoming very soft and tender in motherly affection, she addressed that deity, "Please come." And there's, of course, different versions. Jiva Goswami's version is Krishna poked his flute through the dike separating Radha-kund from Shyamakund. I mean, Radha-kund is already full with the waters of Manasiganga, but through Krishna's flute, the holy waters who were praying for shelter in Radha's lake flowing in a circular motion, making lotuses of all colors blossom on the shore, on the surface of the water, and flowering trees of all description bursting into bloom along the shore. So that's when they exchanged their vows, which is on one of these signboards here. Krishna told Radha that I will come to your lake every day to perform pastimes, because your lake is as dear to me as you. And then Radha told Krishna, no, he said, may your lake be even more world-renowned than mine. And I'll come there every day to perform pastimes with you. And she said, and I'll come to your lake every day as well. And I bless that anyone who has intense devotion for this lake, where you subdued Arista, anyone who lives here, who serves here, who displays intense devotion to your lake, will become very dear to me and ultimately come to me. And hearing that, all the gopis and birds and animals began to cheer in great joy. And by the instruction of Purnamasi to Vrindadevi, the surrounding area, Srivali, manifests beauty such as had never been seen before. Because, as we said, adversity and calamity, represented here as Arista, are the gatekeepers to elevate our consciousness to higher dimensions. So there's a branch of theology that deals with prophecy, and some people make it sensationalistic. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to enhance our faith, to help us align our intention with our goal, to prepare our consciousness for blessings yet awaiting. And we see their vows fulfilled. Radha's lake is more world-renowned than Krishna's. You don't hear people say we're going to Shamakund. When they say we're going to Radhakund, they know that Shamakund is automatically included. Now this dynamic has been elevated to even a higher dimension here in Vrindavan, where people say we're going on Govardhan Parikrama. But it's really Radhakund Parikrama, which is appropriate because Radhakund is the essence, Sara. Sara means lake, it also means essence. Sri Sarovara, the essence of Prema Bhakti, is contained in the impoundment in Radhakund. So to say, we're going on Govardhan Parikrama as you circumnavigate Radhakund, that's so merit. And on the shore of Radhakund, a replica of the original Radha Gopinath Mandir in Braj was constructed to commemorate the appearance of Gopinath to Jahnava-Devi when she came there on Parikrama. Because Jahnava-Devi is none other than Ananda Manjari who resides in the lotus curves not Radhakund. And within the temple compound is the Samadhi of Raghunath Das Goswami, established as the fulfillment of his yearning to reside eternally on the shore of Radhakund at the foot of Govardhan, where from the first time he beheld the beauty of Radhakund, and he actually saw Tundakari, who's outside here, Radha's swan, playing on the waters, an intense hankering to serve the devotees awakened within his heart, awakening an exemplary, humble, surrendered mood which bound him forever to his place of worship. And why is that? Because the associates of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna reside forever in their favorite places, of which Radhakund excels. And once having given your heart to their service, you cannot bear to be separated. So Raghunath Das Goswami came to Vrindavan to end his life by jumping from a cliff on Govardhan Hill, which was much higher at the time. Lord Chaitanya appeared to Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and informed him of Raghunath Das Goswami's suicidal fantasy. So they approached him, and Sanatana Goswami confessed that he too had contemplated suicide. But Lord Gauranga changed his heart, and by befriending, nurturing Raghunath Das Goswami, a whole new chapter opened in his life, which lasted until Rupa Sanatan left this world, at which time his will to remain behind was fading. Until Jahnava-Devi came and Jiva Goswami requested her to visit Raghunath Das Goswami, which instilled new life in him. And as a new chapter, he composed Sri Vilapa Kushamanjali, which is sequel to his Manasiksha. In hearing the verses of his writings and prayers is synonymous with following in the footsteps of the eternal associates, because his words reveal the proper moods of separation and clarify how to cultivate them and express them, while continually warning us to never dream of imitating the great souls. So in his verses, we hear how in his 50 years residence on the shore of Radhakund, their lordships repeatedly appeared to him in Grand Darshan, disclosing the sweetest flavor of union, sambhog, to their devoted servant, which is interspersed with such deep episodes of separation, viraha, that he became so absorbed in thoughts of them, more in separation than union, that he felt as if they were still present with him. Until he returns to the loving remembrance of his preaching mission. A loving burden of love, which highlights his hankering to return to the Nityalila, which was ever gaining strength, likely contributing to his departure from this world. In his words, we hear how in this life or hereafter, he turns his ultimate attention to Radhakund as his final shelter. And Raghunath Das Goswami is living still in the world of song, where he's simultaneously here and there, offering us a connection by way of his spiritual lamentations, which formed literal, fragrant blossoms of ecstasy, expressed in the verses, which he strung into a garland named Vilapa Kusumanjali, offered to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Krishna and to Radhakund, the most accessible, gracious form of Gandharvika with her Lord Giridhari. So his mentors, having gone before him, Sri Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, amplified his feelings of separation, and his only solace remained consistently his shelter of Radhakund. And for us, with the goal of Nishtha, which grants attraction to the Leela of the eternal associates, though our own spiritual identities remain inaccessible, awaiting and calling us in pursuit of Bhav and ultimately praying, our aspirations are defined by the Acharyas as being a speck of dust at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Rupa Raghunath. And don't take that cheaply, because the hankering to follow in the footsteps is realistic and possible only inasmuch as we progress in overcoming material contamination. And the wording which Raghunath Das Goswami chooses When will I achieve whatever aspiration? Places his aspirations within the reach of conditioned souls. Sara, essence, leg, is the syllables of rasa reversed, which is the standard metaphor for ras, which is flowing, rippling, expanding, the form and feature of Srimati Radharani's love. Granting the blessings of bhakti in a flavor found flowing in the wake of the Sakis and Manjaris. And the exalted, selfless service attitude, pure innocence, and intense emotional makeup of the Manjaris, and the reason for it. And the reason that they have such a profoundly deep understanding of Radha Krishna Lila and the bhakti by which we can access it is explained in one of his many verses. His verses are like sutras. They're like vignettes. You know what a vignette means? It's an ornamental design without borders. You see them in books sometimes. A picture with no borders that just flows into the text. So he explains his hankering to return to the Nitya Lila when he vacillates between his sadhaka form as Raghunath Das Goswami and his eternal form as Rathamantri. And he's addressing his guru throughout as Sri Rupa, which could be either Rupa Goswami or Rupa Manjari with the same person. So, in one verse, he appeals to Srimati Radharani, would you consider to lovingly tutor me within a cave of Govardhan Hill how to compose and sing divine melodies to the accompaniment of the lute, which is a simplified form of a veena. And because Srimati Radharani is very shy amongst her friends, because they lovingly tease her about her relationship with Krishna, so in this verse, a vignette, his words paint a picture, a vision of an effulgent spiritual realm shining through the window of his own pure heart. And when we meditate and remember his words, activated by good sadhana, with emphasis on attentively chanting the Mahamantra, we gain a glimpse of that divine dimension, a peek into that unlimited reality by his grace. So he's appealing to Srimati Radharani. Since you are shy amongst your friends, consider their maids who revere Srimati Radharani too much to ever tease her. And with them, she can be uninhibited and share the deepest feelings and longings of her heart. So to enrich Krishna's Leela eternally, ever new songs and melodies emerge, enhancing, accompanying, conveying rasa, to be performed during Rasa Leela. So since Srimati Radharani is half the object of glorification of the devotees, she could not be the one to compose or sing such songs. So Rati Manjari, who is Radhanata's Swami, is begging her, take me into a secluded place, a cave of Govardhan, outside of the hearing of the Sakis who will make you shy. So Srimati Radharani inspires her Sakis to fully immerse themselves in stringing garlands on the shore of Radhakund, and then she subtly indicates to Rati Manjari, and they, with gestures, calling her to stealthily retreat to the assigned cave, where Srimati Radharani begins to teach Rati Manjari how to sing and play the lute. And in that cave, the stones first begin to cry, and then they begin to melt. And Rati Manjari is pondering, am I dreaming, or is it really possible to be this fortunate? So while they're singing in that cave, Krishna enters as if hypnotized by the melodies they're singing. And he asks Radha, what are you teaching, Rati? And she says, nothing. We're just rehearsing. So Krishna sits down to hear the rehearsal. Radha hands the lute to Rati Manjari and asks her to sing, which she does by harmonizing her heart with Radha's emotions, and as if experiencing the Leela, her voice resonates Radha's ecstasies in the form of sound. And Krishna feels he's actually experiencing the Leela simply by hearing the songs. So when she's done, and she very shyly opens her eyes and asks Radha and Krishna, was that all right? And they both begin to clap. Srimati Radharani embraces her, and Krishna gives her a Gunjamala. And what does this remind us of in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita? Lord Gauranga is Radha and Krishna giving Raghunath Swami his most treasured possessions, Govardhan Shiva and Gunjamala, making him immersed in such deep gratitude that Lord Gauranga has granted me shelter at Govardhan Hill in the Pandita. That's what he would feel when he was singing that Govardhan Shiva. Imprinted with Mahaprabhu's own thumbprint, bathed with his tears, evoking from Raghunath Goswami ecstasies you can never experience by serving the deity in Aishwarya Bhav. And then when he would gaze upon the Gunjamala while chanting his japa, he would contemplate how Mahaprabhu was granting him shelter at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur advises us to follow in the footsteps of Sri Rupa and Raghunath. In order to carefully understand the mood and the manner of the acharyas, how they love and serve Radha and Krishna as the Manjaris do. So selfless, so innocent, though intensely emotional. And their joy is even greater than the Sakis due to the synergy of service attitudes, combining servitude and friendship. So the different kunds of Braj impound the Sara, the essence, the rasa, the blessings. In Braj, the dust is Chintamana, which holds consciousness. The rivers, lakes, kunds, they flow and carry that consciousness and distribute it to others. So in Braj, you know, Krishna killed a cow at other time, a calf, Vatsasura. And he got in trouble with the Gopas that day. And it was the same thing. They told him, now you have to go to all holy places. And he said, no, I don't want to do that. It'll take too long. I'll just bring Ganga Devi here. So from his mind, Manasa Ganga flowed more purified than Ganga in hard water. So that's why in the court of Nanda Maharaj, when they're hearing the recitation of Garuda capturing a serpent and flying away, but the tail of the serpent touched Ganga, and the serpent assumed a four-armed form, and Garuda, in great respect, took that Vaikuntha form upon his back and personally delivered him to the spiritual world. So when Nanda Maharaj was hearing that, he told his subjects, we should go on pilgrimage to Hardwar to take bath in the Ganga. And there again, Krishna said, that'll take too long. Ganga Devi's here in Braj. Her name is Manasa Ganga. Nanda Maharaj said, that's a nickname for a local river. You can't equate her with the Ganga flowing from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And Krishna said, no, you can't equate her because she's even superior here in Braj. And then Mother Jashoda started pulling and said, don't talk like that about Ganga Devi. Show her proper respect. And Krishna said, but she's here. They didn't believe it, but they love Krishna so much they'll do whatever he says. He said, I'll take you to Manasa Ganga and reveal Ganga Devi to you. She said, okay. So they went along and they watched as Krishna bowed down to Manasa Ganga. And they were surprised he was acting so respectfully, taking the water upon his head and offering prayers. And then they saw within the depths of Manasa Ganga a glowing effulgence, gaining strength, emerging in the form of a beautiful, divine goddess, dressed in white, ornamented with pearls, riding a white crocodile. Clearly it was Ganga Devi herself. And as they all bowed down to her, she bowed down to Krishna and offered her prayers to him and got up quick before anybody else saw what was transpiring. So that Manasa Ganga, you can appreciate from so many perspectives that Manasa Ganga is Brahma Kund, the waters which hold the essence of the Brahma Sampradaya, which is loving devotional service to Krishna. Whereas Radha Kund, the synergy of all holy places, filled first with water of Ganga, and then from the waters of Shamakund came Jamuna, which is the essence of Braj Bhakti, which infuses our hearts with the pulse of Vrindavan. And the Rupanugas are characterized by an apparent partiality to the personality, places, and services of Srimati Radharani. I say more apparent than literal, because their apparent partiality to Krishna is due to their conviction that serving her devotees is the key to the deepest recesses of Sri Krishna's heart. And as we progress in our sadhana, our goal becomes more specific. And it begins with the appearance of adversity and calamity, personified in Arista, granting us access to higher dimensions and new chapters in our life. And tonight we're celebrating the personification of overriding sweetness and underlying grace, personified in the Sara, the essence of love. Sri Sarupa, Radhakund, for which today is glorified as by Srimati Radharani's own choice. Bahulastami. You know Bahula, the cow? She was confronted by a tiger who was hungry. So he's looking at Bahula with hungry eyes. And he told her, I'm going to eat you. And she begged, can I just have enough time to go back to my cowherd protector, my Gopa master, say goodbye to him, say goodbye to my sisters, say goodbye to my calf, and I promise I'll come back to serve as your dinner. And the tiger said, okay. So she went back and told her Gopa protector, and she told her sisters, and she told her calf what she was going to do. So when she returned to the tiger with her friends and her calf and a Gopa who was carrying a flute, and seeing, first of all, that she was true to her word, the personification of truthfulness and integrity, the tiger just lost his appetite. He said, go in peace. This is another important lesson. Integrity means you have internally what you profess outwardly. It means your goal is aligned with your intention, and you will adjust all your decisions and actions along the way in pursuit of that higher aspiration of pleasing Krishna by truthfulness, the last leg of religion. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a somewhat unrelated question, but it's a little bit puzzling. When Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj had a little problem. Issues, yeah, they had issues. Somehow, Durvasa Muni, who wasn't a pure devotee, was able to just run straight to Vishnu. Even the four Kumaras couldn't do that. Even Lord Brahma couldn't do that. Why did he have access without the purity?
You can appreciate that in different ways. For one thing, Durvasa Muni is an expansion of Lord Shiva. And the main thing is, even though he had such qualifications to go straight to Vishnu, what did Shri Krishna tell him? You have to go to my devotee. After which, his heart was so transformed, he left glorifying Ambarish Maharaj. What to speak of going to Lord Vishnu directly? Durvasa Muni is a very integral figure to Braj Lila. And just in a nutshell. And he's intimidated. When he appears in Braj, everyone runs and hides, except for Srimati Radharani, who so lovingly, respectfully, graciously approaches him and asks for service. And his heart melted. And then in the pastime, he asked for Kir to break his fast, just like Durvasa Muni approaching Ambarish Maharaj, saying, I need to break my fast. At the perfect time, so Durvasa Muni told Srimati Radharani, I need to break my fast to provide Kir and Yoga. And because before he even tasted that Kir, simply the fragrance made him so intoxicated with divine love. I'll just speak of the taste that he blessed. That whoever tastes your cooking will never experience calamity, defeat, disease, and everything you cook will be sweeter than nectar. And that's why Srimati Radharani was able, by the request of Mother Yashoda, to come, even as a child, and cook every day for Krishna. So Durvasa Muni is essential to Braj Lila, which he has full access because he's partial expansion of Lord Shiva. So what to speak of going directly to Vaikuntha. He goes repeatedly into Braj and intimidates everybody. But vastly enhances and facilitates the Lila. Okay, there's another part to tonight's program. Nancy and Madhu Prabhu will be taking their spiritual birth simultaneously with the birth of Radharani, which the gopis glorified as the daughter of Govardhan. Who takes birth tonight? Do I leave the beads in the cabin? Kartik Prabhu, the beads in the cabin are the same, similar bag to this.
I know.
So Mother Nancy and Radha have become inmates. Even though they're not living here, Shri Radha and Dhammachoda stole their hearts. So they've come to take their spiritual birth with the appearance of Radha Kunda. Taking blessings from your parents and seniors. What are the four regulative principles?
No mediating.